As the angel with demonic wings plummeted from the heavens, the sky split with her descent, and the earth shuddered as she crashed into the forest below. A group of men, rugged and wild-eyed, emerged from a creaking carriage nearby. These were no ordinary travelers, they were bandits, dispatched by their ruthless leader to capture beautiful women. Failure in their mission meant certain death upon their return, but the sight of the ethereal woman lying in the clearing sparked a desperate hope in their hearts. The woman, however, was far from the helpless damsel they imagined. Her name was Amira, a being of both divine and demonic lineage. She looked up from the broken compass in her hand, her brow furrowing. The bandits were of no concern to her. What troubled her was the shattered instrument that had guided her quest. Without it, her path to Helheim, the realm of the dead, was lost. Sensing the malicious intent of the bandits as they circled her, Amira's pupils flared with a radiant, unearthly light. In an instant, her angelic appearance gave way to a fearsome transformation. Her once beautiful wings, now only half intact, sprouted into dark, leathery appendages. With a single, fluid motion, she unleashed her demonic power, effortlessly dispatching the three men. Their bodies crumpled to the ground, lifeless before they could even scream. This world was one where humans, gods, and demons coexisted in a fragile balance. At its center was the dragon deity Bahamut, a creature of unimaginable power that, whenever it appeared, left nothing but ruin in its wake. 2,000 years ago, the combined might of the human, godly, and demonic realms was required to seal Bahamut away. The effort drained their powers, and the keys to Bahamut's prison were split between the gods and demons. But after 2 millennia, the world was again teetering on the brink of destruction. A girl with demonic wings and divine magic had stolen the keys from the divine realm, rekindling the ancient terror. In the chaos that followed, the archangel Michael intercepted her, severing half of her wings and sending her spiraling into the human realm. That girl was Amira, who now roamed the mortal world in search of Helheim. She had donned the clothing of the slain bandits, a disguise to blend in as she gathered information. As dusk settled over the land, Amira passed by a lively tavern. Inside, she overheard a man boasting of his journey to Helheim. His name was Favor, a skilled bounty hunter whose latest quarry was Jaws, the leader of the very bandits she had encountered. Favor was no ordinary man. His hunts were sanctioned by the wine deity Bacchus, a god who preferred revelry to righteousness. After defeating Jaws in a brutal battle, Favor sealed the criminal's soul within a stone plaque, using his hunter's bracelet. He then collected his bounty from Bacchus and celebrated his victory at a tavern, his tales of Helheim becoming more exaggerated with every drink. Amira, intrigued by Favor's claims, approached him as he staggered out of the tavern, his breath reeking of alcohol. She asked him to show her the way to Helheim, promising to fulfill any request in return. Used by her seriousness, Favor drunkenly suggested a kiss as payment, not expecting her to take him seriously. Their exchange was abruptly interrupted by the arrival of Gus, Jas's brother. Filled with rage and vengeance, Gus had tracked down Favor to avenge his sibling's death. The night, which had begun with a mere inquiry, now teetered on the edge of violence, with Amira and Favor standing at the heart of a conflict that would shape the fate of their world. Gus swiftly traced a complex magical circle on the ground, summoning a colossal minotaur from the abyss. Favor, sword in hand, charged fearlessly at the beast, but the minotaur's immense strength sent him hurtling against a distant wall. Struggling to his feet, Favor urged Amira to flee, but instead she sprinted toward the towering creature. In a blur of motion, Amira defeated the minotaur with an almost effortless grace, her movements as fluid as they were lethal. With the beast vanquished, Favor seized the moment to ambush Gus, using his last reserves of strength to seal the sorcerer within a stone tablet. But as the minotaur's massive form collapsed, debris flew through the air, and a chunk of stone struck Favor squarely, rendering him unconscious. In the darkness of his mind, Favor descended into a nightmarish vision of hell. There, looming behind him, was Bahamut, the ancient dragon god sealed away 2,000 years ago. The terror of the dream clung to him as he suddenly awoke, only to discover something far worse. A demonic tail had sprouted from his body. Panicked, Favor attempted to sever it, but the tail was unnaturally tough, resisting his every effort. Just then, Amira found him, her expression unreadable. She revealed that while he was unconscious, she had kissed him to extract information about Helheim. The tale, she explained, was a result of contract magic she had imposed on him. The only way to rid himself of it was to fulfill the promises they had made to each other. But there was no time for explanations. At that very moment, Favor's old rival, Kaisar, appeared, a fellow bounty hunter who was not only a skilled swordsman but also someone who held Favor responsible for the decline of his family. Realizing that Kaisar would never understand his situation, Favor grabbed Amira and fled on horseback. Despite his best efforts, Kaisar caught sight of the tale, his eyes filling with betrayal. He believed Favor had been hiding his true identity all along, the root of all his misfortunes. Once outside the city, Favor explained to Amira that their journey to Helheim was a long one, and they lacked the funds to make it. To solve this, he proposed hunting high-value bounties. They soon found themselves at the edge of a desolate area, where Favor's bracelet began to glow ominously. A goat-headed statue before them morphed into a demon. Without hesitation, Amira charged forward, dispatching the demons with an effortless efficiency that left Favor in awe. Afterward, she urged him to go and collect the bounty. Favor led Amira to Bacchus, the god of wine, where he exchanged the demon heads for a handsome reward. As they prepared to leave, Amira noticed some ducks nearby and felt a sudden hunger. Favor quickly stopped her, warning that the ducks were the sacred pets of Bacchus, specifically his beloved Hansa. Generously, Favor spent a portion of their reward on a fine set of clothes for Amira and treated her to a lavish meal. The two enjoyed their evening, laughing and eating until they were completely satisfied. As night fell, Amira, still in high spirits, decided to take a swim in the nearby river. Under the starry sky, her beauty was mesmerizing, her eyes sparkling with a joy that Favor couldn't ignore. But Favor had a dark purpose. As he watched Amira, he contemplated killing her, believing her to be a demon. Yet his bracelet, the tool that identified demons, did not react. Conflicted, he hesitated, his conscience battling against his instincts. Sensing his unease, Amira questioned him, but he quickly changed the subject, asking her why she was so determined to reach Helheim. Amira revealed that she was searching for her mother, whose memories were contained in the gem pendant she wore around her neck. Their conversation was interrupted when Kaisar caught up to them once again, his sword drawn and his intent clear. Amira stepped between them, but instead of attacking, Kaisar found himself captivated by her beauty. Seizing the opportunity, Favor kicked Kaisar aside and fled with Amira, leaving Kaisar behind, dazed and smitten. The following morning, Favor ventured into the city for supplies, leaving Amira at the city gate. Unbeknownst to her, the city was on high alert, with knights searching for a female demon with half a wing who had stolen a key of great importance. Seeing an opportunity to rid himself of Amira, Favor tipped off the knights, leading them straight to her. When the knights found Amira, she tried to avoid conflict, but they were relentless. Forced to defend herself, Amira revealed her true form, half demon, with only one wing. The knights immediately activated a powerful magic circle, intending to subdue her. From a distance, Favor watched the chaos unfold, convinced that he had finally freed himself from the burden of their pact. But as he turned to leave, memories of their journey together flooded his mind, and even his horse seemed to disapprove of his decision. Before he knew it, he was racing back to Amira's side, his heart heavy with regret. At that critical moment, the knights' magical attacks had no effect on Amira, and the knights were reaching their limits. Favor was thrown from his horse, and a few smoke grenades tumbled from his pocket, providing a brief window for escape. Seizing the opportunity, the two fled towards the drawbridge, only to find it blocked by more knights. The captain of the knights, noticing the gem on Amira, ordered his men to capture them alive. Favor, thinking quickly, damaged the drawbridge and then leaped off with Amira. As they descended, the captain revealed a pendant identical to Amira's. Though Favor and Amira successfully escaped, the city was soon plastered with their wanted posters. With their funds dwindling, Favor took on another bounty mission to cover their travel expenses. This time, the target was a notorious poison expert. To prepare for the mission, Favor ventured to the cliffs to find a rare plant for an antidote. But as soon as he picked the flower, His hunter's bracelet suddenly lit up. A giant python lunged at him, mouth agape. After a fierce struggle, Favor managed to defeat the python and secured the herb, beginning his preparations for the antidote. As he worked, Favor couldn't help but complain to Amira, questioning why she didn't simply fly them out of danger with her wings. Amira revealed that she could no longer fly, having lost half of her wings in a battle when she trespassed into the sanctuary alone, stealing the key of God. The angels were baffled by her feat. The sanctuary was a place demons could not approach, yet Amira not only entered effortlessly but also used divine magic to steal the key. Moreover, she had sealed the key within her own body, making her the living embodiment of the key of God. Meanwhile, Caesar, having tracked Favor, found himself lost in the wilderness. He was rescued by a young girl named Rita and brought back to her home. When Caesar awoke, he discovered that his left hand was broken. Rita's parents invited him to join them for dinner, and seeing the food, Caesar, who hadn't eaten in a long time, was deeply grateful. Just as he was about to eat, Rita touched his injured hand, as if warning him, but Caesar dismissed it. After the meal, Rita's father spoke of their town's plight. Demons had been destroying their crops and had taken all the children except for Rita. The villagers saw Caesar, a knight, as their last hope. Filled with a sense of duty, Caesar vowed to rid the town of demons. Afterward, the father noticed that Rita hadn't eaten and asked why. Rita simply replied that she had no appetite and went back to her room. Caesar followed her and found her sitting in a rocking chair. She asked him if he had enjoyed the meal. Caesar, reminiscing, mentioned how it reminded him of his childhood. He spoke of how he had grown up in a family of knights but despised his father's strict discipline. He had longed to escape his family, and when bandits attacked while his father was escorting tribute to the king, his father was blamed for the loss and hanged. This disgrace led to the family's downfall, and his mother, unable to bear it, took her own life. Rita listened silently, her expression unreadable. Suddenly, Caesar felt a sharp pain in his stomach, and Rita pointed him towards the restroom. The next day, with Caesar's leadership, the townspeople rallied to face the demons. As they confronted the creatures, one of the demons called out Caesar's name, triggering his anger. He charged, only for the demon to suddenly appear behind him, muffling his cries with a towel. The scene around Caesar changed in an instant. The demon transformed into Favor, and the villagers into grotesque zombies. Commanding the undead was Rita, standing among them with a spellbook in hand. The once cozy cottage was now a ruin, and the meal from the night before was revealed to be nothing more than mud, water, and crawling maggots. Favor, now by Caesar's side, exposed Rita's true identity, a necromancer who had deceived them all. As Rita began chanting from her spellbook, the zombies stirred to life. Favor quickly tore a towel soaked with an antidote in half, handing one piece to Caesar. Preparing for battle, Caesar realized that even his broken arm had been nothing more than an illusion. Caesar picked up his weapon and began methodically taking down the walkers surrounding him, one by one. With the immediate threat neutralized, he sped towards Rita's location. As he prepared to eliminate Rita's zombie parents, she suddenly stepped in front of them. In a heart-wrenching moment, her mother lost control and bit Rita on the neck. Reacting instantly, Caesar attacked, but it was too late. At the same time, Favor seized the opportunity, firing several arrows into the enchanted book in his possession, forcing out the demon that had been lurking within. He quickly sealed the demon inside a stone tablet. The village, once vibrant, had actually been destroyed 200 years ago, leaving behind only the doctor's daughter, Rita. Through a twist of fate, she had come into possession of a spellbook and, in her grief, resurrected the deceased residents, living for centuries in the company of these zombies. Now, on the brink of becoming a zombie herself, Rita tearfully faced Caesar. With a heavy heart, Caesar drew his sword. Night fell as Caesar walked along the desolate road, a zombie girl following in his wake. Instead of delivering the final blow, he chose to let her continue existing in her undead form, unable to bring himself to end her cursed life. Meanwhile, Favor went to Bacchus, the god of wine, to redeem the bounty. Bacchus, however, realized that Favor and his companions were now wanted and pointed them towards Helheim. At the ferry crossing, Favor sought a boat and encountered Ammon, a former companion of his father's thieving crew. The reunion was warm, and Favor immediately greeted him with familiarity. Unbeknownst to them, Kaisar, accompanied by Rita who had been trailing them, also rented a boat and caught up. As the night wore on, Ammon, under the influence of alcohol, began reminiscing about Favor's father. It became clear that Favor and Kaisar had once been the best of friends. Kaisar had been completely honest with Favor, even confiding in him about his father's plans to escort the king's tribute. But tragedy struck the next day when Kaisar's father was attacked by thieves. Favor had concealed the truth about his own father's criminal identity from Kaisar, leading Kaisar to believe that all his misfortunes were caused by Favor. Little did he know that Favor's father had also perished in the same incident. The gem in the tribute carried a terrible demonic power, unleashing a massacre that left only Ammon alive. Grateful for the life Favor's father had saved, Ammon promised to take them to Hadelheim. Their conversation was overheard by Amira, who, puzzled, asked Favor what the word father truly meant. She had no memories of the concept. As she prepared to use the gem in her pendant to search her memories, the boat suddenly began to shake violently. A giant crab emerged from the depths. Amira, without hesitation, transformed into a demon and charged forward. Seeing Favor's demonic tail, Ammon mistakenly assumed he was also a demon and quickly bound him, summoning a group of fishmen to subdue him. It was then revealed that Ammon had long since turned into a demon and had orchestrated everything, including the death of Favor's father. He had known all along that Favor was a wanted criminal, and the bounty on Amira was too tempting to resist. Ammon believed that divine intervention was helping him amass wealth. Desperate, Favor shook off his captors, releasing a few smoke bombs. At that moment, Kaisar's boat collided with theirs. Kaisar leaped onto Ammon's boat, and in the ensuing chaos the vessel began to capsize. Ammon, unable to grab hold of the mast, fell into the jaws of the giant crab. Before Favor could catch his breath, Kaisar turned his attention to him. But before they could clash, a massive tentacle appeared in the sky, manipulated by Lucifer, targeting Amira. As Amira prepared to transform into her demon form once again, Kaisar suddenly stepped in front of her. The tentacle struck them both, electrocuting them and transporting them to the realm of demons. In the flying castle of the fallen angel Azazel, Amira and Kaisar were captured. For Favor, these two individuals represented everything that had cursed his life: a witch who had damned him and an archenemy who sought his life. This was the perfect chance to rid himself of both, but instead he chose to team up with Rita to rescue them. At this moment, Amira was poisoned by the castle's dark magic, unable to unleash her demonic power. Azazel's lieutenant, Pazuzu, tortured her, demanding to know who had stolen the key of God. Kaisar, in a moment of clarity, realized that the goddess he had loved was actually the demoness who had taken the key of God from the sanctuary. Yet, despite everything, he remained convinced of Amira's innocence and told Azazel that she must have been manipulated by Favor. During a conversation with Kaisar, Amira discovered that he was the son of a noble knight, while the Favor he spoke of was the son of the notorious thief. This revelation intrigued her, adding another layer of complexity to their intertwined fates. Meanwhile, Favor brought Rita to Bacchus, the god of wine, seeking help in an unorthodox manner. Despite his reluctance, Bacchus agreed to aid them, sending them to the path Azazel must take to reach the magic city. As Azazel's flying castle appeared, Favor shot a tracking arrow and pursued it with Rita. Azazel quickly sensed the intrusion and, intrigued, decided to offer Kaisar a chance for revenge. Simultaneously, Favor and Rita fell into a trap, separating them. Favor found himself in a chamber filled with torture devices, where Amira was being held. At this critical moment, Kaisar appeared, driven by his desire to avenge his father. However, Favor had no interest in battling Kaisar. His sole objective was to escape with everyone. Just as the tension peaked, Rita intervened, preventing Kaisar from attacking. As the portal to the city of demons opened, allowing the flying castle to enter, it suddenly vanished. The Orleans Night Order, led by the Saint Jean, had surrounded the area. Jean, designated by the gods as the messenger to combat demons, ordered an assault on the flying castle. Their primary objective was to rescue Amira. In the ensuing chaos, Favor and his companions managed to free Amira, only to be confronted by Azazel outside. Overwhelmed by Azazel's power, they were left defenseless. Azazel's true intention was to obtain Amira, who had already merged with the key of God. Though Azazel escaped, Favor and his allies were oblivious to the gravity of what had just occurred. In a desperate bid, Jean summoned the archangel Michael, who bestowed upon her divine power. With newfound strength, Jean effortlessly destroyed the flying castle and captured Amira along with her companions. A test with a magic stone revealed Amira to be an ordinary girl, or so it seemed. Just then, 3 archangels descended from the heavens. Under their divine spell, Amira's true nature was revealed. She was both an angel and a demon. The revelation caused her unbearable agony. The archangels warned that Amira, now the key of God, was a crucial component in unsealing Bahamut, and entrusted the king with her protection. Recovering some of her strength, Amira demanded that Favor take her to Helheim. Reluctantly, Favor revealed his demonic tale, admitting that if not for his curse, he wouldn't be guiding her, as he had no idea where Helheim was. Angered, Amira slapped him hard before sorrowfully walking through the gates, where she was sealed inside. As this occurred, an alarm rang out in the city. A demon attack was underway. A horde of ghouls had been unleashed outside the city walls, and Jean ventured alone to confront them. Meanwhile, the archangels, with the other angels, were strengthening the seal, but Bahamut's impending awakening threatened to overpower them. The situation had escalated due to Amira, a demigod, stealing the key of God. At the same time, the archangel Michael nearly captured Amira, but her body suddenly burst into blue flames. A powerful magic shielded her, cast by a mysterious individual intent on breaking Bahamut's seal. Based on the memories Amira had of Helheim, it seemed likely that the other key was there. As long as they kept a close watch on Amira, this mysterious figure would undoubtedly act again. While the angels deliberated, Amira had already been rescued by the enigmatic individual, who revealed a pendant identical to Amira's, left in his care by her mother. Meanwhile, Favor stumbled upon a sculpture of a creature he had seen in his dreams. Jean approached him, explaining that it depicted the transcendent being Bahamut. 2,000 years ago, Bahamut emerged suddenly, wreaking havoc across the world. In a time of despair for humans, gods and demons alike, the supreme god Zeus became the key of God, while the demon lord Satan transformed into the key of darkness. Together, they sealed Bahamut. The gods had foretold that if Bahamut's seal were ever broken, a holy night would rise to bring peace to the land. Many believed Jean to be the chosen one, but Favor remained indifferent. To him, life was about 3 things: wine, women, and freedom. Jean insisted that everyone is born with a purpose, and Favor was no exception, just as in his encounter with Amira. Days later, Azazel assembled his demon army to besiege the human royal palace, intent on reclaiming the key of God. Brave dragon knights mobilized to confront the demons, while Jean stood guard at the castle. As the great battle loomed, Amira found Favor once more, and revealed she had found her father there. The human catapult unit launched an attack, plunging the battlefield into chaos, but the demon's inherent superiority crushed most of the human soldiers. Soon, the first line of human defense was broken. Demons poured over the castle walls, plunging humanity into a bitter struggle, with Azazel leading the charge. His attack decimated a large number of human knights, but the saintly Jean, from atop the castle, unleashed a series of powerful golden beams, annihilating the airborne demons and posing the greatest threat to Azazel. As the battle raged on, Pazuzu joined the fray, effortlessly destroying the last human defense line. Meanwhile, Azazel infiltrated the castle in search of Amira. But Amira was still feasting, having starved for days. Satiated, she soon fell into a deep slumber, just as Azazel arrived on the scene. The responsibility of protecting Amira now fell upon Favor and his companions. Taking the initiative, Favor stepped forward, instructing Kaisar to escape with Amira and take her to Helheim. Rita, seeing this, swiftly hoisted Amira onto her back and together with Kaisar made their escape. Favor once again found himself in the role of a hero, yet he knew he was no match for Azazel. Intrigued by Favor, Azazel decided to toy with him for a while. Meanwhile, the battle between Jean and Pazuzu reached a fever pitch. Jean summoned her divine weapon, cleaving Pazuzu in 2, but the effort left her exhausted, causing her to plummet from the sky. In a critical moment, A dragon knight caught her before she hit the ground. Growing bored, Azazel prepared to eliminate Favor and capture Amira, but a smoke bomb suddenly rolled in, and Kaisar appeared. He handed Favor a weapon, assuring him not to worry about Amira. Rita could protect her better. The misunderstandings between them had dissolved, and they remained the best of friends. Kaisar charged at Azazel, but their attacks were futile. Azazel was impervious to their assaults. Unwilling to prolong this tedious battle, Azazel prepared to end it swiftly. But just as he launched a decisive strike, Favor's tail intercepted the blow, and Kaisar suddenly appeared behind Azazel, driving his sword into his body. However, the human weapon was useless against Azazel's celestial form. At their wits' end, Kaisar spotted a divine light in the distance. It was their only hope of defeating Azazel. Desperate to buy time, Kaisar launched another assault. As he fell, Jean's divine light enveloped Azazel, binding him in its holy radiance. The humans had emerged victorious in this great battle. However, their triumph was bittersweet, as Amira was taken away by her father. Amira was brought before the statue of Bahamut, where she felt a surge of immense power coursing through her. Meanwhile, Azazel, defeated and fleeing, was intercepted by Beelzebub, a turn of events he never anticipated. The betrayal struck deep. Beelzebub, once loyal to Lucifer, had turned against him. In the chaos, Favor and Kaisar played pivotal roles, rising from mere bounty hunters to noble knights. While Favor remained stoic, Kaisar was overcome with emotion. He had finally restored his family's honor. As they celebrated, the Archangel Michael descended from the heavens to commend humanity for their victory. He bestowed upon Jean a sacred sword named Perseus, a weapon capable of slaying even the gods themselves. The king, however, was unsettled, sensing that Jean's growing power threatened his own authority. Meanwhile, in the shadows, a mysterious figure poisoned the king's cup. Upon his return, the king drank from the cup and was soon overwhelmed by hallucinations. He saw visions of his long-deceased mother, who warned him that Jean coveted his throne and would inevitably rebel. The king even imagined Jean drawing her sword against him. Across the land, Amira reunited with her supposed father, Lavare, only to learn that he was not her biological parent. Instead, he was a guardian serving the angel Nigel, who was Amira's true mother. Nigel had been expelled from heaven for a transgression, and in her absence, Beelzebub kidnapped the infant Amira. To reclaim her daughter, Nigel embarked on a perilous journey to the land of demons, leaving behind only a pendant as a clue. Lavare recognized Amira as Nigel's child when they first met on the suspension bridge. Since childhood, Amira had been subconsciously guided by the pendant to steal the key of God and seek out her mother in Helheim. Lavare fused together two identical pendants, unlocking a hidden map. Pointing to Nigel's current location in the demon valley of Prudecia, Lavare told Amira that with this new compass, she could finally locate her mother. The mystery surrounding Amira and the key of God would soon be unraveled. The trio embarked on their journey without informing Kaisar, who had just attained knighthood. They did not want to burden him, and Favor sensed that this might be a one-way journey. Meanwhile, Lavare secretly instructed Kaisar to lead the first squad to track down Amira, emphasizing that they must find her before the other knight teams and guide her using the pendant. Favor and Amira ventured into an enchanting forest but were ambushed by a group of human knights, led by none other than Kaisar. Kaisar attacked, but it was a ruse to protect Amira. He ordered the knights not to interfere, but they pressed on as if they couldn't hear him. Overcome with anxiety, Amira's emotions caused the key within her to emit a dazzling light, transporting them away from the battlefield. At the same time, Bahamut stirred, its consciousness awakening due to Amira's turmoil. The three archangels risked everything to reinforce the seal, but the balance was crumbling. Michael could only hope that Jean would retrieve Amira swiftly to stabilize her emotions. Yet Jean was imprisoned by the king, accused of witchcraft, and the mysterious figure who poisoned the king's cup appeared before her, taunting her with the truth. He offered her a vial of soul-cleansing water, promising that it would reveal all. But Jean remained steadfast, believing Michael would come to her aid. Unbeknownst to her, Michael was preoccupied with the crumbling seal. On the other side, Amira and her companions found themselves in another dimension, where they encountered a mysterious thorn. Favor, curious, pulled it out, awakening a colossal ancient dragon that had been tormented for 2,000 years by the thorn embedded in its foot during the catastrophic battle where Zeus and Satan sealed Bahamut. This ancient dragon was an eternal observer who foresaw Bahamut's reawakening due to the girl before it, Amira. The dragon warned that her existence would bring about destruction, not only to her companions but to her mother as well. Despite this ominous prophecy, the dragon entrusted the thorn to Favor, hoping it might help them. The trio continued their journey, eventually arriving at Prudesia, the place where Amira's mother was imprisoned. But Favor couldn't shake the dragon's warning. The dragon had told him that as long as the key remained within Amira, she was nothing more than a living weapon destined to resurrect Bahamut. The only way to prevent this was to kill her. Favor secretly crafted weapons from Bahamut's spiky scales, prepared for the worst. Suddenly, the earth split open, and chunks of land floated into the air as a massive structure emerged from the depths. The mystery man finally revealed himself. It was Amira's teacher, Martina. Martina explained that they had arrived in Helheim, the forbidden land that even angels feared to tread. The trio was confused. They had been following the compass to Prudesia, yet here they were in Helheim. Martina summoned a towering demon, Beelzebub, who imprisoned Favor and Kaisar in crystal coffins with a single glance. He then commanded Amira to fulfill her destiny as the key. However, after all she had been through, Amira had resolved to defy this fate. Her sole desire was to find her mother, bring her home, and have the key removed from her body. Martina's wicked grin betrayed her true intentions as she released Nigel, Amira's long-lost mother, before her. Amira took hesitant steps towards her mother, but Favor sensed a trap. As Amira approached, Nigel was suddenly racked with pain, her wings disintegrating before their eyes. A vision flashed in Amira's mind, a duplicate version of herself. Martina revealed the horrifying truth. Amira was a creation of Beelzebub, a vessel for the divine demonic key, and all of her memories were nothing but implanted fabrications. Despite this revelation, Amira's longing for her mother remained. Ignoring the danger, she embraced her mother, only for it to turn into a final farewell. The demon standing nearby remained unmoved, his scheme coming to fruition. With Amira's roar, the key of darkness fused into her body, completing her transformation into the ultimate key capable of fully unsealing Bahamut. Beelzebub seized the moment, driving a spear into Amira, completing the final step in the divine and demonic fusion. Desperate, Favor begged to be released, and Beelzebub obliged, but only after forcing him to drink a vial of demon water. Favor launched a furious attack but was easily subdued by Martina. She fed him more demon water, triggering a violent transformation in his body, turning him into a demon. At the same time, Jean, falsely accused of witchcraft, was sentenced to be burned at the stake. Those who loved her rushed to save her, but the king ordered them all to be killed. Unable to bear the sight, Jean prayed for divine intervention, but the voice that answered told her that the gods did not love humans. Devastated, Jean broke down in tears and drank the vial of demon water. The execution ground was suddenly engulfed in blue demonic flames as Jean transformed into a demon. With a wave of her hand, she summoned the divine sword bestowed upon her, which at that moment transformed into a blade of darkness. Meanwhile, Rita infiltrated a hidden chamber and uncovered a trove of forbidden demon drugs and traces of a sinister magical ritual. Armed with these crucial findings, she sought out the wine god Bacchus, having developed an antidote to reverse Jean's transformation. Just then, the carriage shook violently, revealing a critically injured Azazel. Through their conversation, they learned that Favor and the others were at Eberron, where Bahamut was being sealed. Meanwhile, the three archangels were reinforcing the seal. Suddenly, Jean appeared, swiftly impaling the archangel Raphael with her holy sword. Uriel was next, meeting his end under Jean's relentless assault, leading to the imminent collapse of the seal's energy. Bacchus and Rita rushed to the scene, rescuing Kaisar along the way. Upon their arrival, they witnessed the archangel Michael being relentlessly pursued by Jean. As the gods and demons converged on Eberron, Beelzebub's so-called Judgment Day approached. Jean, indiscriminate in her fury, attacked Bacchus, forcing him into a desperate battle. Despite his best efforts, Bacchus couldn't withstand Jean's relentless onslaught. Seeing this, Hansa swooped in to catch Bacchus, who steeled himself for another round against Jean. Observing the intense battle, Rita sought an opportunity to administer the antidote, but Michael intervened just in time to halt John's attack and catch the antidote. In a selfless act, she sacrificed herself to awaken Janan. Seizing the moment, Beelzebub launched an attack, but Azazel intercepted him. Rita charged toward Amira, only to be stopped by the demonized Favor, who carried Amira toward Bahamut. Kaisar attempted to intervene, leading to a fierce battle between the brothers. Favor, now fully transformed into a demon, faced off against Kaisar, who, with a heart full of sorrow, shot an arrow into Favor's chest. As Favor fell to the ground, Amira, sensing his pain, transformed into an angelic form, her eyes filled with sadness. Suddenly, Lavar appeared, warning Kaisar that the real spectacle was about to begin. Rita rushed in, urging Kaisar to stay away from Lavar. In the next moment, Bahamut stirred, its consciousness awakening. Several beams of light swept toward Amira, who was taken away as the key. Kaisar was also pushed into the abyss by Lavar. In this dire situation, both divine and demonic beings could only watch helplessly as disaster unfolded. Bahamut, the destroyer of all things, had finally been reborn, and Beelzebub sought to use its power to subjugate all gods and demons. However, the dragon's first target was Beelzebub himself. In his final moments, Beelzebub couldn't comprehend why the key he created with his own magic had failed to control Bahamut. It was then revealed that he, too, had been a pawn in a greater scheme. Meanwhile, Lavar observed everything from afar, and Rita, piecing together the clues, realized that Lavar was the true mastermind behind it all. Lavar had orchestrated everything, from leading them to Helheim to ensuring Amira became the key, manipulating Jean into killing the 3 archangels, and deceiving everyone with his lies. In a fit of rage, Kaisar thrust his weapon into Lavar's chest, but human weapons were powerless against him. Lavar taunted Kaisar, unleashing Favor to fight him once more, all for the sake of witnessing a battle of destruction that hadn't been seen in 2,000 years. Bahamut was unstoppable, wreaking havoc across the land. Even the human kingdom fell, with the king meeting his end. The battle between the brothers was merely a spectacle for Lavar, and, to make it more convincing, Favor severed Kaisar's arm. However, while Lavar was distracted, Favor sealed him in a stone tablet. It turned out that the arrow Kaisar had shot into Favor had contained the antidote, secretly administered in advance. Gazing upon the devastation, Favor recalled the words of the ancient dragon to slay Amira and stop Bahamut. He had always believed there was another way, which is why he hadn't mentioned it to anyone. But Kaisar, though initially resistant, saw the resolve in Favor's eyes and knew his brother had struggled with this decision countless times. The task of reaching Bahamut's summit was entrusted to Hansa. The 2 brothers embarked on this sorrowful journey together, as both divine and demonic forces mobilized. The Archangel Gabriel led the angels and gods in activating the sealing formation, while the demons, under Lucifer's leadership, joined the effort. During Hansa's swift flight, the brothers landed precisely on Bahamut. With Kaisar's assistance, Favor reached the totem of the Key of God and drove his sword into it, delivering a second, decisive strike. Jean watched from afar, recognizing in Favor the holy knight from the prophecy. As Bahamut violently shook, Favor fell, landing awkwardly in front of Bahamut's massive eye. Within its enormous pupil, Amira's figure slowly appeared. In Favor's eyes, Amira saw deep sadness and resolve. He had truly come to rescue her this time, and perhaps he had never deceived her at all. Amira gave him a deep, final kiss as a farewell. At that moment, Bahamut was on the verge of self-destruction. In the ensuing chaos, Favor lost a leg but managed to survive, attaching a stylish diamond leg in its place. He remained firm in his belief that Bahamut had not been truly destroyed and would one day rise again, just as he believed Amira was still alive. Kaisar descended from the heavens with his new adamantium arm, having abandoned his chivalry to accompany his brother on new adventures.